Okay, here we are by the magic of green screen traveling at the gardens of the famous Impressionistic painter Monet and in Givigny, France, not far outside of Paris. I love this combination of nature and the creations of the human mind. I don't think I've ever been so impressed with the beauty of an artist creating color combinations as when I went to see Monet traveling exhibit in the United States. Was very fortunate to get to see that. His sense of color is like beyond beyond anything else I've seen from a very young age. I was able to go to this with one of my favorite painters I've known, Phyllis Ott of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So that was a special treat for me. I love to create my colors based on nature, but I love to appreciate the color combinations that the human mind can come up with by seeing the works of great artists. It's just a great privilege and something to be always aware of when you're trying to come up with your color combinations for your work. Try to set a high standard, and I can do this too. I can make great color combinations. Don't be afraid of that. So the other thing I've done a little bit there is online color wheel apps that you can use, which will show you the classic color combinations that are what clashes, what doesn't clash. But I find, for me, a more intuitive way of doing things, because it is so complex, you can't really put it into an app very well, because there's all the tones of jewel tones and earth tones and pastels, soft sky tones, besides all the different variations within one color, from dark to light and deeper and slightly mixing with other colors. I think it's best to see color combinations in flowers and colors and then work with that for a while in your mandalas. So when I've worked myself, my inspirations have largely been from the American Southwest and from the Navajo Indians that live in the American Southwest. So I put a lot of turquoise and burnt orange together. Those are like my favorite color combinations. Turquoise from the gemstone, and what else is here? Hello, Sophia. So hopefully Sophia will have better luck connecting into the audio here. It looks like it's being a little slow also. So let me do a little. Hello, Sophia. Where are you visiting from?
Sophie?
Sophie, can you hear us?
Sophie, ¿puedes escucharnos? Soy Julie.
So my baskets of yarn here represent the colors that I like to use the most. Now, I'm not at all suggesting that anybody follow my colors, but to find your own favorite colors. I really like, you'll see here a lot of earthy colors, and this rug example sitting under my barely started mandala a sample. This rug was a teaching sample in Therapeutic de Valle. And in one corner, you'll see a rug that I have on my floor with earthy colors. But, you know, if you find some color in nature or in somebody's artwork that really strikes you, I recommend taking those 2 or 3 colors and making those be your dominant colors for a while in the mandalas, and then adding on to that. Slowly adding on to that and using them in different ways and seeing how that works out for you. Now, another early inspiration for me was seeing colors of lichens on rocks. Where do I have that? I didn't put that in here. Okay. It's in a different folder. I will eventually get faster at this kind of screen sharing. But yeah, these colors really fascinated me for a long time. The colors of lichens that grow on rocks in the desert. This is the best example I could find online. There was one particular rock I used to sit in front of a lot and just contemplate the colors. It just blew me away so much how well they went together, but with radically different colors. This particular rock doesn't show the pale blue-green that the rock that I used to see. I'll show you in a minute here.
What is from the rock, Jay?
Yeah, that's lichens. Lichens is a very small plant that grows across the surface of rocks.
Oh, it's very nice. It's a lot of color.
So, yeah, very intense and plus soft earthy colors. So another influence has been the Native American jewelry that's made. And I have a picture here. So yeah, these, as I said earlier, the like a kind of burnt orange, or in this case, a coral orange, which is also what I'm wearing in this shirt that I have on, and turquoise is colors that I use really a lot. And for a while, I was really impressed with Weaver. I'll show you a sample here. That did mandalas, tapestry, rugs. Whoops. Okay. Getting a little faster. And one thing she liked to do is put silver highlights. Now you can see she's got the same kind of progression of chakras in the middle of this.
Yeah, chakras.
Now she's got switchly over to paintings. But one thing she inspired me to get into is putting silver highlights in my mandalas, which I did for a while, and which I'm going to do again. Yes, is that showing up? Here she is. She lives in Indiana. For a while, we both lived in the Asheville, North Carolina area, but I never met her in person. But she definitely inspired me with these wild, very, very time-consuming mandala pieces she was making, woven elaborate mandala pieces.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Obviously. So I'm going to start again using this silver, very artificial, but metallic thread for highlights in mandalas, or at least in the next one I'm going to do. Interesting way of doing things. So one of the things I really try to do with my color combinations is to weave a storyline into the colors. And about 1999 or so, I started naming my mandalas. I've come up with a storyline, and it would end up with a name, you know, like Happy Times or Golden Sunset. Lots of different names I came up with, usually inspired by some colors out of nature. And because the colors have meaning. At one point, I made a study of the therapeutic influence of colors. People who are interior decorators get into this kind of thing. Pale blue greens, pale blues is a very calming influence. Red is a high energy influence, and a passion, influence of passion. Earth tone colors like I use is getting grounded, down to earth, connected with nature. Lots of papers have been written on these kind of things, and it's interesting to study. Yellow is a very interesting color to me. It means a bright intellectual ability. But for the most part of my life, I'm trying to get out of my mind and be into a more intuitive space. And according to mystics who have a more perhaps intuitive view of the meaning of colors, blue-green, or turquoise blue, is the color of intuition. And so, since that's what I'm really trying to do, to make a jump from the busy active mind to a very still intuitive mind that can go to a deeper level, I like to put a lot of virtually all of my mandalas have turquoise, blue-green in them. Plus, it's a very common color, and the color of the deep sea, the great peace that comes with the ocean. So, Yuli, are you there? Are you hearing me? Oh, I see.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm here.
I see you had your sound turned off. I thought maybe that mean you couldn't hear your sound. It just means you're not.
Yeah.
I can't hear you if you speak up. That's fine.
Everything okay. I can hear you.
So, you know, when you're really deeply into an art, and a big part of, for me, being a mandala artist is, you know, trying to get to that level of color that I see in Monet and other great artists. And if that is a life goal, it's in your mind all the time. And it's one of the reasons I appreciate living in Oaxaca. This is an area that loves color. People paint their houses bright and beautiful colors, make paintings and tapestries and prints, all kinds of artwork here, from modern to very, very traditional, with bright, bright colors and intense colors. It's different than the colors I'm into. I'm more into the earthy, toned down colors, but I love seeing it, and I'm sure it's influencing me on some level, brightening up my visions that are carried over from my big influence of the American Southwest and the Navajo and the colors that exist in the Southwest. Now, flowers have been a big influence. You can see so many beautiful combinations in flowers. That's why I have this background here. Let's see, besides my Southwest colors, something I use a lot is the color combination of purple and gold, which I
Nice.
really love, and which I first got impressed with from use, okay, there, okay, excuse me, I'm a little bit lost here. Okay, here we go. Oops. Yeah, just one day I happened upon an iris with intense purple and yellow in it. And that color combination has just stuck with me ever since. And so what I do when I get obsessed with a color combination like this is I'll make different variations of it, and so I've come to like a really a different variation of this, which is a very pale violet and kind of a deep gold. So so both like this, intense kind of primary colors, and then variations off of that into more pastel and earthy colors. Oh, I'm afraid the sound has gone out of sync a little here. No, not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I made this one video where the sound went out of sync, and I got so upset, and I put pieces of it into a program. I got moved the sound up to get connected, but it didn't work because there was such a variation in it was up. I think this one's going to come out all right, or very close, anyways. We'll see. Okay. So yes, that's something to be aware of when you're choosing your color combinations, is the tones. And when you're creating a story, the earth tones, the jewel tones, like the creates turquoise and coral, are very much jewel tones, and the pastel colors, which you often see in flowers or in the sky. And what those create in the story in your mind, what those colors can do. So I'm not sticking with my notes very well here. So one thing that probably helps is to be organized with your yarn colors. Some people keep their yarn in big shelves. One of my most advanced student by far, Inga Savagian, back in Asheville, does this. I'll show you in a second here. Obviously, she buys a lot of yarn. This is tilted the way she took the picture, but it's actually on a wall, sticking up so she can access all these different colors. I think this is about half of what she has organized. I love what Inga is doing. She took over my Etsy sign shop. Her and two other apprentices that I had back in Asheville took over my Etsy sign shop and my domain name, ojosdedios.com. And now somehow they managed to get ojosdedios.com without the dashes in between. I have to ask Inga how they managed to do that. Because whenever I looked at that possibility of getting that, it was very expensive to buy. Okay. So, but I have never organized this way myself. I'm more a little bit scattered with the way I do things and have things in the basket, like I showed you earlier. So when so the basket you see in the lower right corner, just below the mandala, is what I have picked out to be actually using for this mandala that I'm working on. And what I'll do is I'll have a couple of colors that is going to be my sort of theme. So I like the idea that some people say you really should stick with, which is to have a couple of colors dominate, like take up maybe, or along with white. Because I always like to put a lot of white in my mandalas, but have a couple of colors that really dominate the theme. But I tend to start that way, and then I'll add colors, and I'll add so many colors that I'll end up having a mishmash, where there's not two colors dominating, except maybe in my mind, because they stand out for me. But so I'll pick out my basket of colors, but my other baskets are always not very far away. And as I work along, I'm getting too many colors. I'm putting these colors back. But this color is going to fit in with what I have really well. And so I'll throw that color back into my working basket. And so, nothing is fixed. It changes as I go along, according to what I see, according to how the mandala is working out. I'll start a pattern and see what looks good as I add on to it. And so, although I've looked at color wheels, I've read about color therapy, I know quite a bit about the meaning of colors. I don't think about that a lot, hardly at all when I'm choosing my colors. It's like, okay, once again, I'm going to use turquoise and burnt orange. And then I'll put those in my basket, and I'll always use white. White is the color I use the most by far. It's like I used to always run out of white. Now I'm kind of more careful when I go buy yarn to make sure I buy plenty of white. think it's very important to have a sense of light in the mandalas, and extremely important to have empty spaces in the mandalas, where there's no yarn at all, but where you can see through the yarn, the mandala, and you'll see your wall in the back, but you know, the mandala sticks out from the wall. You're always just going to see a blank space there. The artist, right side of the mind, likes to think in empty spaces, and it's important for me to match those empty spaces with the overall pattern and with the colors, and pay attention to keeping as much as the rest of them, more than the rest of the mandala maybe, keep those empty spaces symmetrical and in a pattern, not just a byproduct of the colors you're putting in there, not at all. Maybe the most important part of the mandala is the empty spaces, as far as making a creative overall design. So the no color part of the mandala is extremely important. And yeah. I'm looking at my notes here. So different cultures have different mythologies with colors, and different parts of the world and different cultures have quite different meanings for the same color. Red in particular has a very powerful positive meaning for people in Russia, where it has a kind of negative meaning of violence in America, maybe. Two radically different cultures in terms of that color. So it depends what culture you're influenced by, what you're working and what you're going to work with. And one person's color combination can just have radically different meaning to another person. Like, I was very surprised once listening to a famous impressionistic artist describe how he loved purple and green together. I was like, what? I always thought those colors clashed. But then as I looked at his paintings, I saw he used purple and green over and over again. Big fields of purple and green. And so eventually that changed my whole attitude towards that combination of colors. Shifted over from the just a little over on the color wheel scale, which is generally means a clash, from my purple and yellow that I got into so much, influenced by the irises. Purple and yellow is like this perfect opposite color combination on the color wheel, and green is a little bit off from that. But for some taste, that clash, that little bit of intensity that comes out using purple and green together can be something beautiful. So it's a very individual thing, and people should know about the meaning of colors and color combinations that are generally pleasing to the mind, but understand that people have their own cultural influences, and never be afraid to come up with your own personal color choices. I mean, this is, to me, the real path is in your internal vision of colors, because it's too complex to put into rules, and it's too complex to make an easy study of it. So just go through life, keep your eyes open, and when you see a color combination that really strikes you as beautiful, just go with that. Go with that. That's how you're going to find your colors that you're going to love and that'll work for you. And if it works for you on a deep level, it's gonna convey to somebody else. So that's about all I have to say on this subject. Any questions? Speak up.
No, Jay. No question. Very interesting. Your inspiration. Yeah, when I saw natural things that the flowers and vegetables or something like that, it's a lot of inspiration for me too. It's very nice.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to walk through life being intensely aware of colors around you, because you're constantly looking for colors. You're looking for colors that work together. You're looking for just individual colors that strike you as really beautiful.
Yeah.
And so that can help you to still the mind. To me, a big part of life is to still the mind and let the heart open up. And if you're intensely involved in any creative process as you go through life, that is a fast route to opening up the heart, which is kind of the ultimate goal in life. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming. And Yuli, I look forward to seeing you down here in Oaxaca.
Yeah, I will see you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm glad I had somebody to share this with, so I can make a recording. Otherwise, I reschedule.
Okay.
And Erica, if you're there too, thanks for coming. Okay, I'm going to